Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good? One Punch Man, boys. One Punch Man. We got it. And for all those people out there that are probably not going to enjoy it, I am here to say more One Punch Man for me. And yes, it did look a little wacky. And yes, it did look a little trashy. But I am going to put in a little bit of explanation why that could be. And I'll do that towards more of the end of the video because no one came here to get something that they could have already learned by themselves. So if you are interested in that, wait till later in the video. So this episode opens up with us learning a lot about one of the S-class heroes, and I think if this show actually is something longer than 12 episodes, which I should have seen if there was some type of um, some actual information if they actually stated it or not, if it's 12 or whatever amount. But with them going into King and really just elaborating the stuff he's been going through this whole time, like for instance, he's the guy who pretty much has been living Saitama's life that Saitama deserves or that he would earn if this guy wasn't just so happened to be at the place where Saitama had beaten somebody. So because of stuff like that, you get these really fun stories, and in my opinion, there's nothing more fun than learning who the guy was that had to live in the shadow or like live the big talking and all that stuff that the man who had shown up and actually one punched it and then dips, you have to somehow fill in those shoes. And he didn't, supposedly, he had his eyes closed through most of the stuff, so he didn't even know what to say to the people. I don't think him saying that he threw one punch and it exploding would have even made a lick of sense, unless that's just what they truly believed. But yeah, we get to learn that he is absolutely trash. I mean, we went from probably the lowest ranked threats to the highest ranked, like all in this one episode, and they were all not all targeting. The lowest ranked guy didn't want anything with King, but there was someone who actually like. There's two people who were like down to literally just get King, and I think that's a good start already for what is to come for the series as a whole. Because I mean, if these monsters are looking for King, that could only mean like a couple things for uh, like the overall narratives coming up soon. Like I'm pretty sure that means we're getting into the monster arc pretty quickly, and that's where I stopped reading the manga. So up to there, I will be completely in the dark, which they have shown some things that were already included in that arc. So, with that already being said, we gotta be getting more than 12 episodes, right, guys? Like, my God, if they're taking their sweet time making a good character out of King, and then there's already the fact that in this week's episode as well, the ninja supersonic um, or ultrasonic, megasonic. I forgot these guys' names, but he shows up and even he has like a moment to give me like questionable doubts of how relevant will he be? Like he's showing up in the first episode, blowing out all of the information that some guy hasn't even told the villains about that he's trying to hire. Yes, the good guys, the heroes, are actually trying to hire the villains so they have a better chance at winning, guys. It's going to get wild. This show is going to be so fire, or this season anyway. But if it is 12 episodes and they're willing to already kind of like show us um, King and show us people that maybe weren't necessarily needed to getting the spotlight, that kind of gives me the idea that we should be in good hands. Like in the terms of the overall story and maybe episodes, but if you guys weren't feeling these animation or like how it looks in general, that might change here and there. They did have a couple of Saitama moments where he was like in the serious face and had like the better graphics that are really illustrated and stuff like that. So they have that. It's just they don't use it nearly as much as first season could. Um, Not only that, the people who kind of are in the background now feel like they have almost just as much animation and detail done to them as much as Saitama and King. Well, maybe not King, because they just go in on King's face. They go in on his scars, his crying. My God, everything about King was just like to the T. So I think that might be one of the issues for some people is some like spots of the show are gonna just look really amazing, and then you're gonna wonder why not everything looks amazing, I feel like. So we'll see how it plays out. Everybody has their own, criteria. That's so sick. I love that glitch right there. Um, but if that is the case, let me know how you guys were feeling about this episode. And the reason why it does look somewhat like that, I think I've waited a little bit long enough. Um, and I'm gonna make it quick. The first season supposedly had animators from like all over the place. So imagine if you were making this show and you didn't have nearly as many people that you wanted in your actual like the madhouse, for instance. They didn't have everybody they wanted to do certain animations for certain fights and then do certain gestures for certain idled moments. So by doing the way that they did the first season, all they really did was go out and outsource a whole bunch of people that they knew. And everybody who had like amazing, amazing talent was willing to work on this thing, even if it was for, an hour on, maybe the theme song, or even if it was like 4 or 5 days on a fight that won't be showing up until much, much later down the show. But they are already helping each other with it. So he pretty much was reaching out and getting some of the best to help them. And I had some people explain this to me, and that's one reason why I'm giving this show probably a lot better credit than I would if I was someone that just thought it was the same studio, the same people are handling it, and now all of a sudden it looks just worse. Like, no, we're dealing with a studio that does these animations decent. It's just they're not going to outsource and reach out for all of those people who are probably busy as heck now because of how good One Punch Man did. Everybody probably got great recommendations for the artwork and talent that they put out. Hence why anime has been doing so phenomenally lately with some of the bigger shows that are getting great mangas and better animation because fans want to see such art done right, So we kind of get just a transition period with this week's episode. I mean, we got Saitama who's really, really losing his drive. I mean, the man saw Genos fighting. He actually asked if Genos wanted help. He could have just stepped in and started fighting or threw one punch and ended it. But, he tells Genos, just be careful. Don't lose this fight. Get it on. So it's weird to me to think that all of this comes from, the guy who's supposed to want to be getting his grade up as of the last time we seen him. He's just talking about uh, not being known and stuff like that, and he wanted to switch that. So it's kind of weird that he just allows Genos to take on a fight that even he himself said seemed pretty strong. And the only reason why he probably didn't want to take on the fight mostly is because of King. And he pretty much noticed that Genos had taken over King's spot because every minute that King was gone, which, mind you, he still left. He still didn't care. Every minute King was gone, the monster was going to straight up end somebody's life. And King's in the bathroom, freaking out, and after a while, he's just like, you know what? I'm not gonna go. I'll just not go, and I'll be okay. Which he was, and somehow Saitama figures out where this man is, probably just like followed him or something weird, and then jumps through his window that's on the 22nd floor. um, I don't know, man. Like Saitama is the weirdest dude, but this felt like extra super weird Saitama. So I don't know. I'm guessing this is probably what he's gonna be like yet again throughout the episodes. Maybe if you break something of his, he's going to get mad. He straight up breaks the guy's controller, and he's just like, "Oh, I broke it." You know, like you didn't care. I broke it. What are you gonna do about it? You got another controller? That's just how he seems now. He's just such an idiot. Well, he's always been an idiot, but he's even more of an idiot now. I don't know, guys. I'm really torn on the animation and stuff, but the story was so funny, and overall, we kind of learned like what was going on after. Like, why did no one say anything about these demons that were capable, or these monsters that were capable of destroying a lot of stuff? They get punched, and they didn't question who did it, and then this is kind of that question being answered, like, oh, they thought it was King this whole time because he said it was himself after they asked. Another great moment was seeing Saitama with his hair again, like old school Saitama, first Saitama, baby Saitama. um and he was still fighting, like after he killed the guy and saved his son to create the, like, Saitama is just a legend, guys. He's the guy who defeated a lobster thing underwear, and created the hero organization because the guy's son was saved and he was so happy, or I think that's what happened. um and then you have Saitama saving King upon multiple and multiple times to create him into one of the top heroes, and nobody, like, even the civilians were scared to say certain things to him. They're like, "Why are you talking to King that way, bro? Like, are you stupid?" Like, they literally were just stunned and shocked at King's appearance, and I think that's what makes this show so great and funny at times, is the things they get to say with all these characters, the way these characters get to act in their environments is absolutely gold. It's just now you got to get used to what we're going to be seeing for probably the rest of the season. The one thing that was actually funny to me is they didn't use much of the blur stuff, like I was saying in my video about One Punch Man season 2 coming out. Like, there was a lot of the blur, just like every single punch he was throwing, it just started getting blurry. Even Saitama, when he was turning to stop the monster that was about to like start raging out and try to kill King again, it just kind of like him turning his face, him turning his face very slowly, supposedly, but very quickly at the same time, made it blurry. Like, they blur him because they're trying to sell the fact that he's moving fast, but at the same time, to him, it's probably slow. So I don't know. It's a way of the new age animation lately, and you can definitely tell these guys have gotten some very crafty ones of the blur. And the show that I can recommend recently that's doing this blur and kind of ruining some of the fight scenes for me is the Rising of the Shield Hero. There's a lot of that blur, shaky camera, as in like the cameraman is actually there holding the camera and stuff's getting great. Like the wind's pushing his camera around so he can't hold it. Another show that has it and is very like prevalent is Radiance. Radiance had it almost every single fight, which was kind of sad. But at the same time, the story was so good, I overlooked it. That's the whole point of these plots being well done, and if they're not, it's gonna be a lot harder to enjoy the quality of it. So, with that being said, guys, we are starting One Punch Man, baby. And I don't think I used to have a channel, and I don't even think I got to review One Punch Man. Like One Punch Man had came out and was fully dubbed, not fully dubbed. It was fully subbed, and it was starting to get dubbed when I caught it. Or it was they were talking about the dub. I don't even think it was dubbed yet. Like dub people were so mad they couldn't watch One Punch Man that they started watching the sub. But with all that being said, I want to hear your guys' opinion. What do you believe is possible for this show? Not to mention, can you get used to these animations? Are you one of those people that are going to drop the show because it doesn't look like what it looks like? Did my explanation kind of help a little bit? Like, to have so many people that were so good at doing, like, they could have got people from Dragon Ball Z in there to literally do 2 episodes of the fights, and you would not notice it until you see the next other episodes that don't match up to the, like, look at the final fight compared to every other fight. You can tell somebody different was in there working on it, and that's what's really cool about the first season, and that's what really kind of hurts this second season is good luck matching that. I would never want to have to follow that up, and here we are watching the follow up. So, the one thing I do want to ask you guys is if you learn how many episodes there are, if you learn it before me, please drop it in the comments down below. That would be gratefully helpful. Not to mention, sometimes I don't be learning about it for quite a while, or like I don't know if the information is being withheld, or if the other people that I'm like following and like keep up with doesn't just do their research on it. I don't know, but I'll figure it out, and if I do, I'll have it posted in the comments or something like that. So with all that being said, everybody, I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I think I might bring Monster Hunter back. I kind of miss it, and I've been playing every game so much lately that I've almost forgot how to play this game, guys. So I hope Monster Hunter in the background doesn't upset anybody. I got some reclaiming of my battle skills to get in this game because I've been playing Sekiro and stuff like that. I already beat Sekiro twice, so that game is dead to me. Um, Not to mention all the other games are really easy. This game at least has some challenge in it where I could die still. So I don't know. Let me know if there's a game you want to see in the background that I've been playing or that I can start playing. So with all that being said, guys, I'll talk to you in the next one. Black Clover coming up soon. So with that, peace.